Hello everyone, this is Evan here from the Trade Risk on Wednesday, September 21st with a midweek market recap video. We are first going to analyze the current market environment. We're going to look at some other markets, sector analysis, and then finish off with some individual names and a few trade ideas to consider on the long side for the rest of this week. Before we get into all of the fun action today, I just want to remind everyone, point out that the webinar we're hosting tomorrow, we're going to be covering our trade setups, what we look for, the patterns, the entry, the exit, trade management. That's tomorrow. It's your last chance to sign up here, thetraderisk.com/webinar. It's free. It's during the session at 1 p.m. Eastern time. If you cannot make it, I will gladly send you a recording of the webinar. Just make sure you're on this list. All you have to do is put your email there and I'll communicate all of that to you. Otherwise, I hope to see everyone there tomorrow and it should be a good time. So getting to markets today was, we had the BOJ decision out last night, early this morning, depending on where you are. And we also had the Fed out today. And as you can see by today's session, a 1.1% rally in the S&P 500. Markets liked what they heard. So breadth was strong today. We held in there. We couldn't even really undercut yesterday's lows. And we managed to close the session near the highs. Very constructive. Once again, the SPY chart skewed still just a bit from that dividend. If you go to the cash market here, you can see it looks a little more constructive. This is what you want to maybe pay attention to, up 1.09% in the cash index. And we are now back above the 20 EMA. We can still see we have the 8 and 20 not ideally aligned yet. Remember, we're coming off of this kind of this sharp pullback here. And what we want to see, right, the next steps, but it's one step at a time, is we want to see the 8 get above that 20 period and start trending higher, get back into this old range. Those are the next steps that we want to see. But again, today was a great step forward for the bulls, right? They held on to action. They dominated everything. We came into the session digesting the BOJ, and you could already tell that there was a hint of sort of bullish sort of tones to the market even before the Fed announced. And then once the Fed finally got on, you know, with what the market sort of expected they would do, we could finally rally. So we saw the VIX unwind. We saw markets rally. Again, good participation across the board. So we are now back above sort of that close range that we were looking at, you know, at about 215, 215.50. That's been the highs of price for essentially the last 7 or so sessions. We had a brief push above it on last Thursday. And then we had that very fast, hard snapback last Monday. Other than that, though, we are now finally closing back up here. And like I say, we want to see tomorrow, we want to come in here and hold the majority of these gains, right? You don't want to come back down and start playing back around in this old range or giving back too much of this day's progress. You want to see the bulls continue to either make progress and advancing, continuing higher, or at least just kind of moving sideways, holding the upper, 30% or so of this range. And that would start to make things constructive heading into weekend, which maybe we could see a strong close. That's the way we're looking at it. If nothing else, you have a nice sort of line in the sand to use following up today's action, either down here at 212.50, or if you just want to use the lows from today at around 213, 213.50. That's a good line in the sand if you want to be really tactical and kind of stick with strong momentum. That's a good line to shoot against, place stops against, or at least a point at which you would reevaluate or perhaps get it concerned, depending on how you're approaching it. So that's for the S&P 500. We're going to go right to the Qs here because this is the most exciting, where we got a new closing high. We actually resolved a 6-week range here. If we go to the weekly chart, you can see we've been chopping around sideways underneath this 118 level in the Qs, NASDAQ 100, and we finally got a close above that today. So very much the leadership here, very much where the strength is, and this is where you want to be if you're looking for momentum, you're looking for swing setups. These are the names, and this is the index that you want to be paying attention to right now, because this is giving you the green light go, the NASDAQ 100. If we go to the IWM, also very, very constructive percentage basis. Did a lot of work here today by the bulls, not quite taking out or at its previous highs like the Qs are, but still very constructive. You can actually see the 8 and 20 already curling over. So the S&P 500 500 is the laggard here. The Qs are up in front, followed by the IWM, followed by the S&P 500. So, looking at these two other indices, and coupled with SPY, things are looking pretty good right now for the bull case. Again, we want to see that maintain and hold into week's end. So let's get into some other markets here. TLT will start there. They get a nice rally here. No rate hike. TLT still finding support. It never really saw any more follow through from this 133 level. This was a few days ago, and then you also now have today's low, which would be a nice little kind of higher low if you're looking at things in the short-term picture. 8 and 20 still not favorably aligned, but again, doing the first steps of sort of constructive repairing action here in TLT. And again, the long-term trend is still higher, even though we are below the 20 on the weekly chart. Could be the first close below the 20 in many months, going all the way back to, the last time we were underneath the 20 EMA for the TLT was 2015. So it's been a very long time since we've closed below there. We'll have to keep a close eye on that. But the bulls do seem to be stepping up. If we go to the metals next, gold had a nice rally today, confirming this support down here around 125. We get a nice sideways range to trade with and to measure levels against. 125 to about 130, 130.50. That's the area. Going sideways here, you could probably play for a move back to the top end of this range, or if you just want to wait for this whole thing to resolve and play for a bigger weekly kind of breakout pattern, that's certainly something to keep an eye on as well. Silver also getting a sharp move higher today, 3.17% rally to the upside. You can see it's coming back into some previous supply here, consolidating just like gold is, just taking on a slightly different shape and form here as it goes sideways. But silver getting a little more beta behind it, getting that nice big move today. USO also getting helped, and this is all kind of helped out by the US dollar, which fell off of today's news, coming down about 0.5%. All of commodities getting a nice lift, or at least a tailwind behind that, with the dollar coming down. So USO 3.3% to the upside. Again, doing some repairing, still below the 8 and 20, but it's trying to get back above here, consolidating, and you have a nice kind of low to trade against now around this $10 $9.95 level in USO. UNG certainly still the most actionable and the one kind of commodity here that is, or at least the major ones that we're tracking here, that is breaking out to the upside, making not quite new 2016 highs, because I think we did have higher highs back here right at the beginning of the year before it came crashing down. So we're not quite at the 2016 highs, but we're at certainly new multi-month highs, and we closed above yesterday's high. We're long this market. Remember from last weekend's video, we said we got long in here. I believe it was last Friday was our signal, and we're still in this trade. We haven't taken any profits yet. We're letting this breakout work, and this is kind of a picture perfect classic breakout. These are the things that and setups we'll be talking about in that webinar tomorrow. So if you want to check that out, make sure you sign up on that. And UNG, we're still long, looking for higher. Looks good, maybe a bit overbought, but that's how I like it. And finally, I think that's everything. I think we covered all that. So let's look at some of the sector components here, things to pay attention to. Today was a hot day across virtually all sectors. The ones I want to highlight here are just the strongest of the strong, right? These are the ones demonstrating the most relative strength. Semiconductors back to highs here, back to closing all-time highs in semiconductors. Very constructive technology, no surprise there. Basically, very similar look as the Qs that we looked at earlier. Utilities also a very nice rally today. I know on a relative basis they're nowhere near the highs from the year, but still a very sharp 2% rally today. So again, that kind of chase for yield. You see money kind of rotating back into the XLU. This is the kind of tried and true trade that we had on for basically all of 2016 is starting to work again. So that could be interesting in the near future. And then healthcare, this has been strong. Really, particularly biotech is what I want to focus on, and this is what has been quite strong, back to these previous highs here. If you look at the equal weighted XBI, you can see we're already trending higher. We're above the August highs, so things are looking good in biotechs. A lot of strength there. On the downside, and again, pretty much, I think every sector was green today. The relative laggard, and again slightly so when compared to the rest, is XLF. Notice it couldn't take out yesterday's yesterday's highs, or at least it didn't yet. So this is interesting. We'll have to see if we can get more continuation here through XLF on the upside, but it's going to get back above this 1950 level, take out these previous highs, and then it can start to do work once again in this uptrend that it's been trying to, a very, not a very steep slope at all in this uptrend, but XLF is grinding with a, with a little bit of, bullish intent behind it. So we'll see how that one continues forward. Getting into some of the individual names, Facebook doing, looking pretty good today. 1% rally here in Facebook, taking out or making new weekly highs essentially. Uptrend is very much intact, 8 and 20 bullishly aligned. The grind higher continues here in Facebook. Amazon, same situation, although this was almost a new all-time closing high, or actually I think it did get the all-time closing high, 789.74. It did. So this was a new 52-week high, new all-time high in Amazon. Very constructive looking there, 8 and 20. Everything that you want to see, so things look good. Google also holding up very nice, getting back to the top end of this range. This could be making new highs again very soon. And Alibaba, which also making new highs today. This one's been running away to the upside here, and it continues to do so. And just very, very good momentum name here recently. So something that you want to keep on your radar. This is a leadership. This is something that I've been looking to try and get into. I just haven't been able to, and this one looks like it's going to make another leg without me. But that's, there's a lot of names to choose from. That's the good thing about markets. Etsy, this is going to be the first trade idea. Actionable trade idea. So this one breaking out to new highs here. You can see faded off of those highs, but still looking good, trying to resolve this month and a half range that it's been moving in sideways. Had a strong move up in August, worked that off sideways, moving averages caught up, and now it looks like it's trying to leg higher again. That looks good. eBay, this is one that's been a leader for quite some time. You can see it's been consolidating, pulled back nicely, and then it's trying to get going again today. I like the look of this one, even if it's just for a trade back up to highs. I like eBay. It's been in play over the past few weeks, ever since July, where it got this nice strong run up. Things look good there. And then TWLO, which continues to act well. We've had a lot of successful trades in this one, really getting going. New all-time closing high here, 8% move. It's a little overbought, but this one is an aggressive mover. This routinely puts in double-digit day returns. This one, back here on the 11th of August, this was an 11% day, followed by almost a 10% day, followed by a 10% day that had a 16% intraday high. So this thing can move. 8% is sometimes just where it starts. So TWLO looking good here as it gets a new all-time closing high. Finally, letter X, AKS. These type of material names, these have been beaten up for quite some time. They had nice run up earlier this year, but then they suffered a pretty good pullback here over the past 6 to so weeks, and they're getting a little bit of snapback. There could be some legs to this to retrace maybe 30, 50, 60, or get back to previous highs. Again, that's over a longer term move. That's something that's worth paying attention to if that's what you're interested in on some of those longer term pullbacks. That's what I have for today. Hope everybody managed the Fed day okay and came out alive. Again, our webinar is tomorrow. You can head to thetraderisk.com/webinar. Hope to see you guys there. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you next time.